action. We're now recording. Okay, so welcome to our third and final session of our time management course. I wanted to thank you for filling out the consent forms for this online training session, and be advised that it's only got all the information you did provide is only going to be used for this intended purposes, and everything is confidential. And of course, as this is an online training session, just make sure you're comfortable at home, that your chair's comfortable. If you need a refreshment or you need to go to the bathroom, please feel free to do so. We're all adults here, so it just makes sense. If your phone rings and you need to answer it, we'll just resume once you're ready, okay?
Perfect.
And there are things that we just have done already so far. So just a reminder that we have learnt the alignment of our own work goals and that of the company at Develop Property to create a harmonious, productive environment. And the benefits of effective time management on our own mental health, you know, being organised, just less stress, of course. And we've looked at the SMART goals strategy for setting goals, as well as a number of techniques and strategies to assist our time management in the workplace.
Perfect.
Okay, so today's objective, like I said, plan and prioritise work tasks within allocated timeframes. So we need to clarify the objectives and requirements of the work. We need to assess the resources, constraints, and anything that we're dependent on, and determine the timeframes or deadlines for the task to be completed. So basically, what do you need to do? What do you have at your disposal to do it? And how long do you have to get it done? Okay, so we'll go back through our time management techniques and strategies. When we're looking at effective time management, here's some things that we want to consider. Identify the tasks that can be delegated or outsourced. You know, look at people's strengths in your team and give them jobs if you can. Collaborate with your colleagues or hire external support for specific tasks. If you've got an event to organise, then make sure you're not going home and baking cakes for it. Get it catered if you need to. Okay, focus on high value activities that require your expertise, your own strengths as well. Clearly communicate project deadlines and expectations with collaborators or team members. So have that meeting prior to the task and delegate all the activities that need to be done. Use email, project management tools or meetings to keep everyone informed. Any of those software that we're going to go into in a little bit that you can use for managing your team. And set realistic deadlines and follow up on progress regularly. So that's really important for always improving, you know, understanding how long a task might take on one job, and then being able to transfer that to your next job. So you're learning from what you do. Okay, but with all those things that are benefiting your company, you also need to take care of yourself, okay? So prioritise your self-care to maintain that focus and keep up that energy. Take breaks, you know, have a treat waiting for you after you've finished something. Have a little cup of tea or a bicky so that you can reward yourself. And manage your stress through mindfulness or relaxing techniques. Stretch out, get some fresh air if you need to, so that you can stay focused. And of course, at the end of the job, make sure you go out for lunch or really reward yourself so you can stay motivated, okay? Take some deep breaths when you need to. These are the kind of things that are going to help your own mental health. Okay, so we plan and prioritise work tasks. And you need to divide your larger tasks into smaller ones so that they become more manageable. Create a task list, always lists. We love our lists when it comes to time managing. And you can track your individual components that way. Consider the logical order and dependencies of tasks, so make sure that the big things that are really important, you're getting them underway straight away. Okay, and identify tasks that are urgent or time sensitive and give yourself that time so that you're minimizing your stress. Use our prioritization techniques like we've talked about before, the Eisenhower matrix or the Pomodoro method. I think if you remember, the Pomodoro was the tomato timer. So using something like that on your desk, which isn't your phone, because a timer is not going to distract you like Facebook will. And
That's true.
focus on high priority tasks that align with goals and have significant impact, so you're not wasting your time. You know, make sure that you are staying on track and everything is relevant. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's just a little video for you to watch. So I guess that's just a little video about how not to prioritize things. They probably should have taken the baby first, I would suggest. Okay, so here's a list of other things to consider when you are prioritizing for effective time management, okay? Assess the time needed for each task based on complexity and past experience. You'll know from the feedback that you've received from tasks you've done before, and take that into consideration when moving forward, okay? Consider any dependencies, interruptions, or potential challenges. Don't get bogged down helping out your colleagues, doing favours. If you need to get a task done, be selfish about it, it's okay. Allocate sufficient time to ensure realistic completion within the given time frames. You know, your bosses are going to give you deadlines, so try and stick to it. And block out specific time slots for different tasks on a calendar or schedule. We'll go into that a little bit more, and when we come forward using some tools. And consider your peak productivity hours and align tasks accordingly. Like if you're a morning person, then that's when you need to get those important things going on. Whereas if you don't warm up till later on, then, you know, just think about that when you're chunking your time for the day. And allow buffer time for unexpected delays or contingencies. Hopefully you won't have too many of those if you've effectively done your time management skills. Okay. And here's something that we will use when we're doing our time management in our workplace. And it can be quite controversial, the old digital versus hard copy calendars. You know, in education we have our term planners, and they'll be emailed out to us so we can see everything that's going on through the term. But there'll also be a copy on a whiteboard or in a staff room so that everyone can see it. But I know for myself, I wouldn't be able to run my family without a hard copy calendar on our fridge. There's no way. Everyone needs to see it, with the amount of sporting activities and schooling activities that need to be looked at and organised. Couldn't live without it, and I don't think we would survive with a digital one. So you just need to figure out what works best for you at your workplace, okay? So some examples of some digital calendars, you can go onto Google Workspace. There's another one called Resource Guru, Monday.com, HubSpot, and you can just use your iPhone calendar on your phone, of course. But with digitals, it's so convenient. It's definitely convenient, and you can access them anywhere, okay? And if anyone had a question, so if you've got someone in charge of that digital calendar and they're applying tasks to it, then you can question that via email or text right then and there, okay? So that's a good thing about digital, but they can be expensive. A lot of the time you might get locked into a contract, and so you're going to have to make sure that the company that you're working for is okay to have that payment. And my advice would be not to have too many people have access to applying tasks to it, because it could end up very confusing. So if you've got someone that's in control of a digital calendar at your workplace, then they're the ones that you're going to liaise with when you're questioning it. Okay, and a hard copy calendar, of course, it's good to have something up that everyone can read in the staff room, and looking at those, they're clear, they're easy to understand. But you might have employees that are out and about, like for education. In education, we've got people out on work placement. They're not necessarily going to see that hard copy calendar. Like a digital calendar can be seen anywhere. It's in your pocket, you're carrying it around. So they can be very inconvenient. And in this day and age, of course, we need to consider landfill as well, and those paper calendars can bog us down, and they're not good for our environment. Okay, so there's just some points to consider for pros and cons when you're looking at different calendars to use. Okay, so this is our first activity that I want you to complete. You're going to be doing this at home after you've learnt all this content today. So these will be done within 2 weeks of today's date. What I would like you to do is imagine you have a team of 6 co-workers, and you're going to organise the event that I'll show you on the next slide. And the first thing you're going to do is conduct a meeting with your co-workers and delegate any responsibilities. I would like to have the minutes to that meeting so that I can see how well you've delegated. There's some things that I want you to consider, and you'll see it'll make sense once you see the event that you were organising. Advanced bookings, staffing, marketing and advertising, booking keynote speakers is important, creating flyers, website advertising. You've got to liaise with REWA because this is a real estate event. And at the end, of course, you've got to get some feedback. But what I really want to see is that first meeting, and see the minutes of that first meeting that you had with your co-workers, okay? And I want those minutes and the list of tasks and who they are delegated to screenshot to me, okay? With your calendars, as I said, within 2 weeks. So this is the event that you are going to organise, okay? So Develop Property are going to present and elevate. It's to celebrate women in real estate. It's going to be on the 12th of March. It's at the Western in Perth, and there are some information about the event there, so you can go through it. I am going to email this slide and the instructions for the activity to you, so you'll have this with you. So don't worry about it too much now. You can go through it at the end, and you'll be able to see what is being asked of you. But when you are looking at it, consider these things, okay? Understand those organisational goals. What is Develop Properties doing? What are they doing? They're celebrating women in real estate, okay? Identify the relevance of the tasks that you're performing to make this event happen, okay? When you're sitting down and making those phone calls to event planners or caterers, obviously that's the relevance. Set your SMART goals individually so that you're aligned with what Develop Property wants you to do. Okay, you need to write those lists for your own sanity, for your own mental health, but those lists will contain tasks that are given to you from Develop Property. Okay? Seek feedback, make sure you collaborate with your supervisors or relevant personnel to ensure that your goals align, and receive any guidance, ask questions if you need to. Develop those action plans. Create detailed plans outlining the tasks, okay? Figure out what resources you need. What if you want to set up that digital calendar, if you want to set up that hard copy calendar. And evaluate regularly. Make sure you are on track, okay? Put yourself a timeline. Get yourself a timeline. Make sure you are on track, all right? So those are some things to consider from Develop Properties perspective. But for your own sanity, remember these things just for yourself, okay? Then they will align with what Develop Property wants you to do. You break your tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. Use time boxing techniques, the things that we've talked about, the Eisenhower matrix. use that Pomodoro technique. And overcome resistance by starting small and then build momentum. Evaluate your workload and capacity realistically. Okay, set that deadline, but give yourself the time and don't get distracted by your phone. Okay, so individual work goals. So I'm just going to remind you, just for those activities, the SMART goals that you want. Something specific, something measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These are objectives set by individuals to align with the organisational goals. Okay, some examples will be enhancing skills, completing projects, meeting deadlines, and improving efficiency. On the next slide, I have another video for you to watch. And this video is going to help you with our second activity. So we have 2 activities to complete for this final part of our journey.
Whenever you're busy and tasks are piling up in front of you, it can be hard sometimes to see the forest for the trees. Every task is screaming out for attention, but not all tasks are created equally. That's why it's important to identify your priorities. Priorities are the tasks and activities that take precedence over others. One way to prioritize tasks and activities is to use a priority matrix. This classifies tasks in terms of how valuable and time-sensitive they are. It's a simple tool that lets you categorize tasks or activities as critical, high, medium, or low priority. Let's look at each of these. Tasks that are time-sensitive and high value are critical priorities. These include crises and deadlines. Tasks that are high value but not time-sensitive are high priorities. These are tasks that involve thinking, planning, and collaboration. Although they fall into your longer-term plans, they should be started as soon as possible. Otherwise, they'll become time-sensitive. Tasks that are time-sensitive but not high value are medium priorities. Medium priorities include some meetings and some correspondence. Tasks that are neither time-sensitive nor high value are low priorities. These can be postponed, dropped, or delegated. They include time wasters and doing favors. A priority matrix is a good way to prioritize the activities in your daily task logs. Just consider where each task would fit in terms of the matrix. Make a list and assign priorities. Use 1 for critical tasks, time-sensitive and high value. Use 2 for high value, but not time-sensitive. Use 3 for medium, time-sensitive but low value. And use 4 for low, neither time-sensitive nor high value. Let's explore how an editorial manager at a publishing company figured out the value of her tasks. She's logged her tasks daily for a week, and now she's ready to prioritize her tasks and determine how she's spending her time. She notes her morning was spent checking edits on a final manuscript, but notices a pattern of interruptions, mostly from colleagues. She then analyzes her tasks in terms of goals and consequences. This gives her the high-value tasks. She then determines which tasks are time-sensitive. Finally, she uses a priority matrix to assign a priority to each task. The tasks that are high-value and time-sensitive are categorized as critical priority. Those that are high-value but not time-sensitive are categorized as high priority. Whatever's time-sensitive but low value gets categorized as medium priority. And anything that's neither high value nor time-sensitive is categorized as low priority. When you're up against it, everything seems urgent, and that can be overwhelming. But not everything on your to-do list is a priority. And that's why it's important to know how to identify priorities, and to tell the difference between a critical priority at one extreme and a low priority at the other.
Okay, so our second activity. Okay, what I would like you to do is go back to Develop Property and do exactly what the video just explained with a task sheet, dividing up your own activities that you do through the week. So look from Monday to Friday at everything that you do write it down and put it in list of priority. Okay, remember those critical, high, medium, and low. Remember those categories. And using a priority matrix, you can pinpoint your priorities. Okay, and consider time-sensitive tasks and tasks with low value. And what I will do is actually email you a link to that video as well, so that you can have a replay of it, think about it, start that task list, get that going at work, and we'll see if it makes a difference to your time management by the end of the week. Hopefully it will. Okay, and so all I want after that is the task list that you will provide, and you will be able to see on the task list the amount of time an activity is taking you and how to prioritize it. Okay,
Perfect.
so I'll email that out as well. So that's your 2 activities. So coming towards the end now, and I want you to think about effective time management and how crucial it is for the success in the workplace. You need to plan, you need to prioritize, and using time management techniques can optimize your productivity for developed property. Regular evaluation and collecting feedback is important for improving future outcomes. So those are our real 3 key things to take away here. And regularly review the tasks and their progress. Reassess priorities based on what's needed. Seek feedback or guidance from supervisors or relevant stakeholders, so your colleagues, clients. Decide on what works best for you and your colleagues. Utilize task management software or apps or our calendars like we talked about. Set reminders, deadlines or notifications so that you're staying on track. And explore time tackling tools for better insights into task duration and productivity. Okay, so I just want to see how you went with the content today with a couple of questions here that I have. So planning and prioritising, if you could just answer these for me. If you don't know, that's fine, we can go through it together. Planning and prioritising work tasks within allocated timeframes helps you to
not get overwhelmed for one, and stay organised and on top of all your tasks.
Perfect.
Making sure you're meeting your deadlines.
Yep. It's also good for your mental health. Don't forget, don't getting overwhelmed. That's your mental health. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And some key steps to prioritising. Do you remember what we talked about?
The little matrix was fantastic, assigning importance to your tasks so you know which ones to start first,
Exactly.
and which ones to get to when you get there.
Awesome. Yep, so break down those tasks and don't forget to delegate. Look at people's strengths as well.
Yeah.
Okay, and to assist future task management, what would you want to do?
For me, that matrix would definitely start doing that.
And don't forget to get the feedback, from your colleagues.
Getting feedback from everybody,
Yeah, and you can do that by sending out those surveys, like the Survey Monkeys and things like that. We do that quite a lot. So also, who can you turn to if you need some help?
Your colleagues.
Perfect. Yep. Supervisor.
Delegated. Yeah, supervisor.
Yep, if they're approachable, that's always helpful. And what are some useful tools to assist with time management?
Your Pomodoro.
Definitely, yep.
Not using your phone.
Yes.
Just get distracted.
Yeah.
But yeah, chunking things into smaller tasks.
Yep, exactly. And your calendars, don't forget those calendars.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you've managed a good handle on the content so far. Thanks, Molly. So just reminders about those activities. You need to email me the calendar for the Elevate event for the Women in Real Estate. You need to email myself the task sheet once you have looked at your activity through a week of your own at your own workplace, and we'll see if we can't assist with the time management in that department. So I just want to thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions?
No, but that was very informative, so thank you.
Good, I'm glad. I'm sure your time management skills will be much more effective now.
I hope so.
Thanks.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Molly.
No worries.